Well, good evening, viewers. Welcome back to another episode of Land Matters with me, Mahmoud Kole. And if you're just joining in, this is a program where we discuss land matters and, of course, land-related issues to help guide new customers that want to acquire land, not to get scammed. And this episode, we have Miss Satang again to continue from where we stopped on our last discussion. Satang?
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Mams. I am Satang Sahojame, CEO SNS Properties. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you very much, Satang. Last week we were discussing on, we actually ended on scam.
Oh my God.
Scammers and possible scams in real estate. You went on saying that, well, people actually don't scam, but sometimes because of the way estates are set up between agents and people selling other people's lands would usually cause some of these problems. But then, can we just continue from there?
Okay, the last time I said anytime a real estate is been interviewed, I think some of the first things that comes to any journalist's mind is the scamming thing. But Mams, let me just go back to something that I want to make clear. Real estate industry is a very big industry, and currently they're employing more youth than most of these industries that are happening in the country. And the real estate industry, as big as it is not regulated by the government. Yes, it is not.
When you say it's not regulated, what do you mean?
There is no written policy that is guiding the operations and actions of real estate companies in the country. So meaning the government did not set up any written policy that is to say, okay, as a real estate company, in order to operate, you need to abide by A, B, C, and D. You know, let's just say when it's about bank, they're monitored by Central Bank of the Gambia. When we talk about radios and TV, they're monitored by PIRA. You understand? And then let's just say based on radios and TV, they're saying, okay.
Ministry of Information actually would monitor these things.
Yes.
So you're saying the Ministry of Lands
yes.
and regional and local government
yes.
is actually just letting real estates operate anyhow, freely, with no guidance?
No, we have been trying for it for so long, because in the Gambia we have Real Estate Association. That is the Association of Real Estate Companies in the Gambia, AREC. It has been set up way back, I think, since 2013 or 14. But since its inception, we've been trying all the time, from one minister to another, one minister to another, one minister to another, to see how best we can come together to regulate the industry. Real estate themselves have put off pledges. We have paid our money to tell the government, okay, here, we will fund the policy. We will fund it. Just try help us so you can set up policies whereby we can be regulated. You understand? Okay, so Mams, many people or some people are complaining that they bought land from some real estate companies. They are not having their lands. So we can see it in the media. But majority of all these real estate companies are very legit and good real estate companies.
If they are legit, then why are people not getting their lands?
People,
the thing is, you cannot say that you are legit. I give you my money and I cannot get my property.
No,
where is the legitimacy?
No, Mams, the ones that are complaining, those are the ones that you're hearing about or you are seeing on the media. What of the ones that are not complaining? In the most of the people that are complaining, you hardly hear in a month one customer might complain.
That one customer weighs a lot.
Yes, it does. It does. But the thing is, we need to know something. Land ownership or land tenure system in the country itself, there is no, let's just say, a correct mapping of land ownership in the country. You understand? So that's why AREC said to the government, try to regulate us. Because you see all this regulation, there will be this mapping, this policy whereby if a customer cannot get their land, the refund policy and all that thing. But with all that,
All right. So, in short, the government, in a nutshell, have zero interest in trying to regulate real estate because, according to what you said here, minister upon minister, you are approaching, but still nothing fruitful is coming out of it.
I don't, to say they don't have an interest might be a strong statement, but to say that there is a delay in their process. There is a delay because even this current minister, just before Abasanyang left office, we were there to discuss the same thing. This new minister too, we are there discussing the same thing.
When you go to the courts, we
Yeah.
have more land problems than criminal problems.
But all of it is not real estate.
But no, we
Not
have
all of it. No, no. But not all of it are real estate.
Satan, when you say land,
Yes.
you cannot take real estate out of it.
You're right.
Great. So this is what is happening. So in that case, then there is no serious commitment towards solving this problem.
Currently, I think there should be a more stricter land policy or land law in the Gambia. The information that I got, the laws that are is since the 1965. That is what they use in still. So in that one, because when you go to physical planning, still around Senegambia coming down to Bijulo, according to the map that they are having, is still an agricultural land.
Agriculture.
So you see, but right now all those areas are residential areas. So meaning there is a need to upgrade that policy. There is a need to upgrade that policy. Unless, ma'ams, the government comes in and step in, the association cannot do it alone.
The association cannot do it alone, but
Yes.
looking at what you just said, it's just quite clear that they have zero interest in solving this problem. But however, let's move on to this my question. How do real estate companies acquire land? The fact that you said, well, they are not scammers. How do they acquire these lands then?
Okay. Ma'ams,
The land tenure system, how does it work with the real estate company?
okay, so currently when we talk about the land tenure system, ma'am, it's where we have the freehold, the leasehold, and then the customary land tenure. Based on our land tenure system, ma'am, we have the leasehold, the freehold, and then the customary land. And then most of the lands currently that the real estates are buying fall under the category of the customary land tenure system. It can be in the inheritance or community owned or family owned. You understand? Or it can be a land given to them by the Kabilo head or the Alikalus. So normally when, for example, let me take example from SNS properties. What we do is once we are informed of a land or we go to a certain particular community that we are interested in having a land, first what we do is, ma'ams, we go to the particular land to see the land, to measure the land first, check with physical planning whether that land is not in their system, or and then try to investigate whether that land is not in any disputes, whether it has ever been in a court case, who owns it, and then, ma'ams, the most important thing is the neighboring land, the surrounding lands. We ask who owned this side, who owned this side. Because if you ask the neighbors who actually own this one, they know the history of the land. So you just don't take the landowner's word for it, but you also ask the neighbors who actually own it, who and who and who and who. Then if you tend to get two or more different stories, ma'am, you still continue with your investigations. If all the investigation is cleared, then you do, how do I call it, price negotiation with the landowners. After doing the price negotiation with the landowners, you sign a sales agreement, like the same thing that we do with the customers. After doing the sales agreement, ma'am, then that's where the payment comes in. So now it can be a cash payment or a payment plan with us and then the landowners. You understand? Whilst that is happening, ma'ams, then we tend to do our documentation. That is, if it is a freehold, we apply for the Alikalo transfer, the physical planning. You have the area council transfer. After payment of the area council transfer, you tend to get the Alikalo stamp, CFO stamp, the family, you get it from, or the individual, their stamps. Then from there, most at times, certain real estate companies are very lucky. The landowners will pay the capital gain tax. They will pay the capital gain tax at GRA. But some landowners will tell you, hey, I don't know what capital gain tax is. I'm not paying for it. You understand? But based on the laws of the Gambia, it's the seller's responsibility to pay. But some real estate, they will step in and pay for the capital gain tax so they can just complete the documentation of that particular land. Then, once that is done, ma'ams, some go all the way to occupancy, to apply for occupancy for their land. But some will just stay there after paying the capital gain tax. After that, ma'ams, then you come have your own demarcated sketch plan. That is where you partition the plots, plot number 1, 2, up to any amount of plot. With that 1, 2, ma'am, that's a demarcated sketch plan. You need to send it to physical planning for layout approval. That is what we call the layout. You need to send it to physical planning for layout approval. One, they need to see the road network, how you cut out the road or set out the road. And then 2, they also need to see the social amenities that you live in for the community, the ones that the ones that should be there, the social amenities, and basically your plot size and everything. If they are not satisfied with it, they will write back to you to say change this A, B, and C. If you should change that one, then you do your payment and then your layout is approved.
Your layout is approved, but let's take a step back.
Yes.
Still, Satam, you've just explained how lands are acquired. You talk to the buyer, you talk to the seller, of course. You talk to the seller's neighbors to see whether you will get a tallied story. But however, all these things do happen, and we would eventually later see dispute in these lands. Even after all these things. What are the possible costs of that? Because if that happens, I mean, the client, which is the third party buyer now, because you, the company, you are the secondary buyer, and then the third buyer, who is the client that you're going to sell it for, don't care, doesn't even know how that land was acquired, or in fact would not be interested in how that land is acquired, and it would eventually consider it a fraud. So what are the possible things?
Okay, ma'ams, like I said, most of the lands that we are buying falls under the customary land tenure system. Normally, it's by inheritance or community owned also. So, ma'ams, where the problem lies most of the times, sometimes you will buy a land, ma'ams, you will do your clearing, do all the necessary documentation, do your clearing, set out your clear cut road. Ma'ams, all of a sudden, you can be there 6 months or 3 months, and then you're doing your business, and then all of a sudden another family will come from another village or another community and start claiming ownership of the land. You understand? So once that claim of ownership, the dispute started, most real estate will stop work, will stop the activity. Some will go to court, some will go to the local tribunal, some will go to the Alicalo, still try to do the negotiation. Some, ma'ams, if it gets to the worst, it will go to the High Court also. So normally, ma'ams, you can sit for 2, 3, 4, many years before getting your final judgment. And customers don't have the patience for that. So most of the times, that is something, ma'ams, that disturbs real estate companies a lot. Because this one will claim, my father was the one farming there. This one will also say, but your father borrowed it from my father or my grandfather.
I've seen that kind of scenario.
Yes, so it's something that is actually going on.
So and where would that leave the customer?
In a dilemma.
So
no, the real estate, no. Here the real estate is the customer.
The real estate, in the sense, the real estate is the middle customer here for me.
Yes.
It's about the person.
You're talking about our customers.
Because you acquired the land, you've done your demarcation, you've done your promotion, and then customers already bought the place, and now this mess pops up. Where does the lies the
okay, ma'ams, let me not it once happened to us at SNS Properties. Ma'ams, what we did was, if that was in the early stage when we were starting, what we did was we had to transfer, we had to buy another land in that particular community, do the clearing, do the demarcation, and then transfer the customers, whilst we wait for the court and everything to tackle, or the community themselves to sit and then tackle it out. So normally, what I will advise is, if it happens, we're not praying for it to happen, but once it happens, try to get another land, transfer your customers. You understand? Tell your customers the truth, and then give them options. to either choose the new locations that you're giving them or another locations that they want, even if it means them adding up, or if they want to withdraw, you simply put up a payment plan with them and give them back their money. Because this is it's not your fault too. It's something that, it will take time. So some customers will say, okay, I'm not in a hurry, I can wait, because I'm buying it for my son or for my daughters, or it's my future investment, so I can wait. But hence, if it did not sort out by this time, then just check for another good location for me. That's it.
Good location. I think that is quite clear there. So these are some of the things that usually bring about confusion between this thing. That's quite clear. And now moving on, Satan, that would just get me to my next question. Now the customer is satisfied. The customer acquired the land, the customer is satisfied, made the payments. Now, can you just take us through the process of documentation?
Okay. For SNS Properties, ma'ams, we deal mostly with freehold. We did not deal most of the times in a leased land. We do have it time to time, but most of our lands, they're all freehold. So moms, once a customer is done with the payment, the customer got their receipt, they got their sales agreement, and then their completion of payment if customers request for it. Moms, then we need to first give them the Alikalo transfer. It's where the transfer starts from. It should be the Alikalo transfer. That is the community head. They need to know, okay, so and so bought a land here. So the Alikalo transfer. Then the second one, you take an officer from the physical planning to draw the to take the coordinate and then draw the sketch plan. That is the physical planning document. Then you give it to the customers. Okay, now from there they also need a area council transfer. But it's some customers, some real estate companies will only do Alikalo transfer, physical planning transfer, and will let the customers continue with it. Some will do the Alikalo transfer, physical planning, area council, plus all the Alikalo CFO stamp. That is if it is included in their pricing. Some will say, okay, this is the price, and then the documentation is separate. You can pay for it, and whilst we do it for you. But if it is a freehold, there is a Alikalo transfer, physical planning transfer, area council transfer with all the stamps, and then the clearance from GRE, because we, the real estate companies, are exempted from paying capital gain tax, but the landowners, but if you should pay it yourself, is also fine. Then you get your clearance for that particular land. Then you go to area council again, the CEO will put a stamp there. Once that is done, if customers want, they can still further go to occupancy. But normally, for us, we don't go all the way to occupancy.
You don't go all the way to occupancy, no. You just give documents. But now when it comes to these documents and still fraud, I mean, sorry that I am still sticking on to this point, because
no, it's okay.
It's a big problem here.
Yes, and it needs to be discussed.
Exactly, it has tinted real estate companies in a very bad color.
Yeah.
All right. So we've seen scenarios or instances wherein there will be a dispute. Two customers would clash at a particular piece of land.
Yes.
When two customers in fact have documents. They are all documented.
In a real estate company?
Yes.
The same plot?
Yes.
Two customers sharing the same plot?
Yes.
Wow. Then, moms, for us, we have a database. Our database system, like, each of this sketch plan, our layout plan, it is numbered. So once a database plot number 2 is gone, and then a customer choose plot number 2, whilst you're entering it, if you enter plot number 2, the system rejects it. It says, okay, it is already taken. You understand? So certain times, moms, it happens whereby allocation, wrong allocation. Sometimes when you're allocating customers, because some customers will buy a plot and they will not go to the land for 2-3 years, and then the entire land will be bushy and everything. So when the estate department goes there for allocation, they do made a mistake sometimes. That is something that I get to know. But with some, I don't know how they do it. The same customer sharing the same plot.
The same customers sharing the same plot. I think we would pick that issue up with the social security,
Physical planning.
physical planning. Sorry.
Yes.
And the government officials, of course. We'll be having all of them in this show so that we can just make some of these things clear. And now, still on documentation, Satam. If sometimes we see documentation will take forever.
Yes.
If you have a client like me, all of a sudden I'm just frustrated and I'm busting all over the place. So if things like this happen, where does the customer's fate lies?
Yes, moms, I think that is something.
Can the customer terminate the contract, or can the customer do?
No, okay. Based on one thing is based on I think all the clauses, the customers have the right to terminate their contract with us, the sales contract that they have with us. So, but moms, how to call it? Customers, their documentation being delayed. Certain times is when you file a document to get it from physical planning. Sometimes it is very slow. The process is very, very, very slow. And moms, you have to wait, because once if you send in too many documents at a go, some documents will tend to get lost in their filing.
Physical planning lose documents?
Yes.
Wow.
All the time.
But we will get them.
All the time. All the time. Moms, you file your document, you send in your document all the time. Moms, you send in 20. No, you will get 18 or 17. I will not lie, it's a camera. They know what I'm talking about.
Interesting.
Yes. So
you make the clarification for themselves.
I'm not laying an allegation. I'm not laying an allegation.
I mean, yeah.
Yes, I'm not laying an allegation. It's our office. All the time we are there. They know what I'm talking about. So you have to wait, give yourself time before you can send in another document while you're also following up on that document. Or, it's not all the time like if this mom's pay today, you send it. No, that one, sometimes, most of the times, that is what causes the documents to be lost in the system. So you do it batch by batch. So if mom should pay, let's just say on the 1st, maybe we will file mom's document on the 15th. To physical planning, because we will be waiting for the other batch that we send. So normally with us, our office, that is what causes the delays.
That is what causes the delay, and this is where time would just choked us, and we will cut it from there. But something is like with the look of things,
yes.
I'm hoping to get physical planning
yes.
next. But with the look of things, there still need to be some clarification for the benefit of our viewers and potential customers
yes.
that are hoping to buy land, because you're making some interesting revelations. But this is what time allows us. Once more, your final words.
Thank you so very much to our wonderful viewers. I hope you have understand what we have said, and from me, bye-bye.
Thank you very much. That was the CEO of S&S Properties, Satan, always willing to come to this program. And until then, see you next week.